Ready to wait, start for that gun. They're on a get set.
Yeah.
We'll,
shake it out.
Can't have a false start in the cross-country race. All right,
goodness.
everybody get up there and let's start again.
Oh, look at that. It's the best.
Look at that tunnel of fans that these athletes are running through. It's one of the most beautiful sights that you'll ever see in sports, the beginning of a cross-country race, and the stampede is off.
Yep, and I am sweating already because this is that moment where you're still super nervous. You're trying to get out. You want to hear your team. You want to see your team, but everyone is going pretty much full tilt right here.
This is the part of the race where you're really glad if you're at Oklahoma State and you've got that bright orange, or if you're the yellow NAU Lumberjacks, easier to find your teammates.
Yeah, black and white right now, not a great color to have. It's hard to be found, but we just kind of let those pictures and that ground pound take over you. The nice thing here is and you need to have a certain amount, but a nice long straight into that first corner, which is important.
And it is a fast start. We don't have any hills except down ones in this first kilometer. We're going to get them out, and everyone is thinking about that early 1K turn. And up front right now, we do see an athlete from Notre Dame who's gapping the pack and saying, let's make this honest. I do see the 3,000 meter steeplechase champion there, not far behind. That is Olivia Marquezich.
Well, it's always interesting to see what the strategy is. This is a 6K course, so it goes by quick, right? Right around 19 minutes or under. We might see some women break 19 minutes today, but getting off the line is always important. I think getting away from the traffic. You know, I felt the World Cross Country Championships in the first 400 meters, and I got stampeded. I mean, it was just crazy. I had spikes on my back. This is what these athletes have to do. They got to get out and get after it.
There you see Caitlin Toohey there on the far right, but she's kind of in the middle of your screen there with the Arkansas run. I think that's Sydney Thorvaldsen, from what I can tell. We've got the screen here. We got some glare. Hilda Olamomoy from Alabama up there in that lead pack. Parker Valby, we know, will make her way to the front. How would you run this if you're Caitlin Toohey? Last year, right, she let Valby get away, went and got her. She ran with her at Nutty Moore and got dropped.
Yeah, you know, Caitlin is just a true cross-country runner. She is a harrier in the truest sense, but she can run it anyway. Like, fitness is fitness at a certain point here, and Parker is sliding up on the inside now. You also see Elise Stearns of NAU just shadowing Caitlin Toohey. If I was not Caitlin Toohey, that's exactly what I would be doing.
Yeah, I think that Caitlin Toohey, what worked, right? So I think that she has to be careful because of those hills at the later stages, and she knows that. That's what she did in Stillwater. She slowly worked on that lead that Parker Valby had. She was down by about 12 seconds, I believe, and then she ended up winning. So I would say go with what works.
They get into that first wide turn at the end of the straight, as we see on your lower left, all the teams that are here this year. Iowa State's back after a year missing it. Colorado, Wisconsin, those are Alabama. Those are some of the ones that are expected to be around. Ole Miss had a great regional run from the SEC. SEC leads the way with 6 women's teams here. That's a shocker. 6 SEC women's teams.
And the SEC champ Parker Valby, no surprise, leading them through the first 1K in 2:54. That's just under 440 mile pace. We are rolling.
We are. Well, this is what she likes to do. Parker Valby likes to get out of trouble, and establish her own pace. You know, so many people talk about the different types of training that she does, but she's super strong. When you are somebody that is a cross trainer like she is, she says she still runs 3 days a week, and she cross trains the rest of the week, but she's really working those quads and hamstrings, and you can see, and that might be what makes it a good course for her.
Yeah.
Use that up the hills and down them.
And just for a little perspective, if you run a first K 3:20, that's about a 20-minute pace is 3:20. So yeah, that's
they're rolling.
They a lot of energy expended, and a lot of people excited to be out and get going here.
And Parker made a big move on that downhill. You know, it's almost like a free fall. Like, you just have to commit and really roll down it. And with her there is Juliet Cherbet of Texas Tech. She was third at the Mountain Regional meet, but it's very similar to last year. It does seem like Caitlin Toohey's willing to be a little bit more patient. Parker, you know, she waited till 1K to really let her presence be known, but now it is all her, as she is going to do the same thing we saw last year and see if we get a different result.
Well, Hilda Olamomoy, I love her too. 6th here last year, but she looked so good at SECs, and she has Doris Lemengol, her new training partner and new teammate. Those two have worked really well in races, and they were very close to Parker Valby at the regional meet, just 3 and 5 seconds back, I believe.
Well, Parker Valby, again, she's feeling froggy, and if anybody wants to hop on, let's go. But I don't know right now that anybody's quite ready for that, and I don't know if they measure that some. Remembering what happened last year, and that okay, we can let her go a little some. We saw her at the SEC championship; she went out quick. Doris Lemengol stayed with her and actually had her about 4,000. She went ahead and passed her, and then Valby kind of gave one of those "there'll be no more of that," and let the freshman know and put her in her place as she came through. But Parker Valby, who we talked about Tui having a disappointing outdoor season when she, or at least when she went to the national championships down in Austin, finished 7th in the 1500, then decided not to compete in the 5. Parker Valby, who sat out all indoor, went and won the 5,000 meters in the NCAA for her first NCAA championship.
There's such a ripple effect of someone like Parker Valby taking this out right now. We're seeing 2 packs start to unfold right now. So we obviously have Parker, and we have about 2nd to 12th altogether, and then another gap back. Right now, everyone in this race who is realistically going to be in the top 100 probably thinks that they deserve a top 40 All-American spot, but this decision is going to have to be made by each of these athletes super early on when it's a pace like this.
So there are 40 spots that are considered All-Americans. 34 of those are back from last year, you told me. Like, come on.
That's awesome.
You want to talk about having all the villains back.
And Parker Valby coming through 2,000 meters in 6:04. That last K was 3:10. So we've slowed it down just a hair as we get into some of the hills. She's just north of 5-minute pace. And we see that the gap back to Caitlin Tui is about 8-9 seconds with Hilda there alongside her and a number of other athletes there who say, I deserve to be in that top 5.
And we've got wonderful scoring graphics on the left there. You see as they go over those timing mats at each K split, and then as the teams go by and their runners, you see the scores refresh themselves, the team score, and you see obviously individual results, which are much easier to tell, like, oh look, there's Parker Valby in front. But the race is determined in the middle, which is kind of one of the amazing things about this. If you were 3rd or the 4th person at a 5,000 or a 10,000 meter race, you don't score. And here you determine who wins the race, really, if you're that 3rd or 4th or 5th person.
And 2 of the athletes that are keys to the NC State victory are going to be the freshman Leah Stevens, who right now is in 32nd, and then Amaris Tainisima, who's in 37th. If those 2 run to their potential today, then NC State can definitely deliver. Right now, the defending champions are in 4th, but things are going to change here very quickly as it thins out.
In that second pack, we saw Bila Jepkarui goes by for Oklahoma State, and then well back Taylor Rowe, who's got a little wrap, it looks like, on her right side. She finished 2nd here the first time, then 5th, and then 13th, but really a quality runner that Dave Smith has to constantly remind, you're a quality runner. You deserve to be here.
Her confidence isn't quite there, but she said her hamstring's been feeling good, and she was all smiles yesterday, which is what you need to do to come into these races.
And look, in a course like this, Carrie and I were talking about it yesterday, we're going to see some real carnage that last kilometer. People are going to blow up. So if you're a team that has a good 6th or 7th runner, you might want them to start out a little bit conservative and act as a stopgap. Say, we need to make sure that our 5th athlete is at least in 80th place, per se. And so having 2 different strategies, not everyone is going to run together on the team and do the same exact thing. Divide and conquer.
It's the upper left as we take care of both the time and the distance coming up on 3,000 kilometers, which is we're halfway point right now. Northern Arizona, who was sitting first after 2K. Elise Stearns was in 9th. Gracelyn Larkin was in 31st. Annika Reese was 34th. Maisie Grice was 55th, and Maggie Congdon is 57th. So they're packed together pretty well, which is what you want to see from your team.
Well, this is the spot now at halfway where Kyle and I were running yesterday, and we said this is where you can lose people. There's turns, there's ups and downs. You start to lose that vision of seeing Parker out in front. So is this going to be that moment where that pack has to start closing the gap?
Right now, Caitlin Tui cannot even see Parker Valby. There's too many fans blocking the way. You can maybe see the cart that is leading the way, but right now the gap is starting to grow, and these athletes might not even realize by how much.
But I think this is what Parker Valby likes. She is an athlete that doesn't have a lot of competition throughout the year, so she doesn't love having other people breathing around her. She likes to get out, and I think that's what we saw at SEC is when she had challenge with about 2K to go, it kind of woke her up, and then she ended up winning by over 30 seconds. So it was like a big slap in the face, like, oh my goodness, I don't have this race won.
She comes across 3K basically at 9:15, so 18:30. If you double that, obviously there'll be some fatigue. Hilda Olamomoy is there at 9:33. That pack is Sydney Thorvaldsen, the fine runner from Arkansas. Caitlin Toohey is there as well. Olivia Marquezette, as you said, the steeplechase national champ. Jep Karui, Lemigol, the fine freshman there in Tuscaloosa at Alabama, who their coaches are like, right now until you learn what's going on, just follow Hilda.
So there are now 18 seconds between Parker and that pack. Thank God for these drone shots. We wouldn't be able to see them both all together. But NC State has now taken the lead. Samantha Bush is starting to move up. She's key. She's been 15th here before, and they need her. I think it's going to take about 100 points to pull off the victory. NC State is at 117 right now. Northern Arizona is at 122. It is tight, and right now, as they're looking for each other, pack up and start working together.
Yep, they're starting to move up, but look at this lead that she has. As you said, 18 seconds. That's 6 seconds further out than she was last year. They need to start moving. That second pack has got to start moving.
3.5 kilometers coming up on the 11-minute mark. Diljit Taylor told us she thinks all cross-country meets really, they move between 11 and 13. That's where the character of the race really starts to take shape. That's where the dynamic really comes into play. Up that hill for Parker Valby, you can see that that's some work right there. You got to get those arm angles tight and really pump them.
She is chopping her feet. She looks good. Look how strong she looks right now. Not one look back. I mean, this woman, everyone has been saying she's a different athlete than she was last year. She looks strong. She's excited about it. You know, I do believe that she is a different athlete. I think she has that experience. And guess what? Being second is no fun. It's way more fun to be first.
We just saw Caitlin Toohey run by on screen as well, and she is not at the front of that pack. She is definitely hurting, and she is working. And right now, this is a matter of not Parker Valby being handed the NCAA title. She's going out and taking it, but we still have 2 kilometers left.
Parker Valby, when you said she says, there's nothing normal about me. That's what she likes to say, yeah. whether it's her training, her fitness, how she goes about it, because she doesn't run as many other people. You're like, you can't be doing this on 3 days a week training and fitness, but Will Palmer assures us that's the case, as her former coach, Chris Zielinski, did as well, who's now over there at Oregon. See some of those runners coming through. I think that's, they call that the Walnut Alley, where you come through the trees. But for the second straight year, this is Valby's race, and she will wait to see if anybody can come get her, and they did last year, but she's moved up. Her lead was a second after 1K and 9 after 2, 18 after 3. She's the first to cross 4K at 12:22, so that was a 3:08 kilometer that she put up there, and she has really had control of this race, and now it is, can you hang on?
And the race for the team right now is happening in the 50s. You have Grace Hartman from NC State, the freshman, sandwiched between Maggie Congdon and Allie Upshaw. You need 5 athletes who are sniffing All-American in order to come away with the team title, and that is happening right there. These athletes are starting to move up, but they're seeing each other, and they know that that is the race.
Caitlin Toohey comes across in 11th. She is 28 seconds back of Valby. Valby being closest pursuers right now are the 2 young women from Tuscaloosa and Alabama, Doris Lemingol and Hilda Olamomoy. We should mention Maya Ramsden's in there, the 1,500-meter champ from the NCAA's last spring. She's certainly acquitting herself really well through the first 4,000 meters as she sits in 6th place.
NC State is continuing to move up. Sam Bush, 47th. Grace Hartman, 48th. They're working together, and they're starting to put a little bit of distance on between them and Northern Arizona's 4th and 5th. This is the team title happening right now in front of us. They've got a pack. It's a tight spread. And look, if Caitlin Toohey's not having her best day, that's okay. But if you're Coach Hennis, you got to go out and say the team is doing it. You got to hold on, and everything counts.
How much does it help if you're Doris Lemingol and Hilda Olamomoy to have those 2 working together to chase down Valby?
Huge, and they've been doing it all season. That's what they know. They've been in these races with her, and they are working together. You can see it, and they're pulling along. Marquezette there, and she looks good too from Notre Dame.
can I just say, the SEC is 1, 2, 3. This isn't a quarter mile. This isn't the 4x4. What is happening in my world right now?
Things are changing, John. And right now, those athletes need to make it feel like practice. But also, if Parker Valby shows even one sign of slowing down, then you got to capitalize on that opportunity and go out and take it. But right now, it is all Parker Valby as she is running through some of the toughest parts of the course. Really, there's not any easy parts.
And this is the toughest part mentally. You know, you want to get there, and it's a long ways. It felt long. That last K felt long for us. But I think that this is where she has to regroup and really dig deep. I mean, if this woman truly cross-trains as much as she does, she spends a lot of time looking at herself in the mirror, you know, and that's a hard thing to do mentally. So she is a strong mental athlete.
Let's point out right now, Notre Dame is a team having a really nice run. Came in ranked 7th. They sit 4th. Oklahoma State is 5th. Northern Arizona, BYU sit at 2 and 3. Team race is going to be amazing here over that last kilometer.
And so Elise Stearns has also started to fade back a little bit, NAU's first athlete. And so, you know, Caitlin Toohey and Elise Stearns, these were two athletes that we thought were maybe going to score 1 or 2 points each. As Elise Stearns is coming back a little bit, her teammates there, Grayson Larkin and Annika Reese in 22nd and 23rd, need to pick her up and say, run with us, come, let's go get this team title.
Looking team title as Oklahoma State sits 5th and Taylor Rose sits in 29th, and that's one of those, like, that's it's one in the middle, but it can't be one in the middle by your top runners, right? They still have to be, I need top 10s from some of these people as they come through, and they're going to get one right now with Bila Jipkarui, who's sitting 5th for Oklahoma State. But Parker Valby, her lead continues to increase. She is through 5,000 in 15:45. That is, again, if you want to keep a watch on the course record, that's 19:08 by Caitlin Toohey. She did that last year at the ACC. And if you're wondering about the meet record, which is a little more dicey, right? Because you're on different courses here, there, and anywhere. But Edna Kurgat from New Mexico did that at the NCAA meet. She ran 19:19 in 2017.
Something that's so incredible about Parker from last year to this year is she changed coaches. And that's tough, that's hard on an athlete. And so she said it wasn't an easy adjustment in the very beginning. You had to learn new training. And Parker, known for not being necessarily a high mileage athlete, but knowing fitness is fitness. I'll get on the arc trainer, I'll do what I have to do. And you know, really setting the tone of the way that if you're a great athlete, you're gonna find a way to come out here and get it done. And she's doing that right now.
And you guys know that, right? Like, you can give me the workout and it all looks the same on paper, but you gotta build that trust with that coach that he knows what he's doing. And Will Palmer said he came in last year in January and he's like, I felt like I had to finish someone else's term paper when he came through.
And as they come through 5,000 meters, the team race is tight. NC State 116, Northern Arizona 124, only 8 points between them. That is nothing in this final kilometer. That is a matter of one athlete deciding that it's worth it to dig down deep and get every single point.
So Toohey's moved up. She's in 6th. Tynesma's in 28th. Leah Stevens, the freshman, 30th. Samantha Bush, the great senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, she's in 42nd. Grace Hartman in at 57th, but her point total right now, because of others, would be at 40. And that's why they are able to, at this point, put together through 5,000 meter a score that is leading the team race.
Woo, 300 meters to go. Parker Valby did take a little bit of a pinch to her side. She looks like she's working through a side stitch, but she looks like she is on fire right now. She has this little downhill, and then guess what? One of the hardest hills of the course is happening right here. She's got about 50, 75 meters once she gets up it, but man, we got to give it to her. All season, she's been going for it. She's been looking so strong, and she ran that way today.
Across the 18-minute mark, she'll be coming into view here, and where there was disappointment somewhat last year where she came back and was caught, we will see if that gap will close some as they are giving chase.
This uphill finish is not easy. You do not get an opportunity to enjoy the final 200 meters of your NCAA championships. But Parker is trying, as she is able to see that there's a nice gap behind between her and Doris Leningol.
But Doris is closing. She definitely made that charge, but it looks like it is going to be Parker Valby.
So instead of back-to-back from Toohey, it is Parker Valby backing it up. She wins the Natty after the Nutty Comb. Parker Valby of the Florida Gators is your national champion here at the NCAA Cross Country Championship. Doris Lemingol, the freshman, a fantastic run as she comes through in 2nd place. as they come across the line. Notre Dame with a third-place finish. The Irish as a team right now have run fantastic. There's Hilda Olumomoy, and Caitlin Tui, the defending champ, will come up into 5th place. That's a good low stick for her. Flomena Asakal for Florida, a wonderful finish. Jeff Karui comes across the line with a top 10. And now this is where they start pouring in, and this is where we will find out how the championship is decided.
And NAU, we have 2 through, and we see a 3rd as Elise Stearns is coming here. NC State, that's Maris Tynisma. She's got to get every single body across the line.
The one Clemson runner that is here, she comes, so she see her, and you're like, okay, that's a point that's not going to be counted against them.
NAU has 3 in, so does NC State. It is tight.
Crossing 20 minutes. Parker Valby, 18:55, the champ. It's a new course record. It's a new NCAA record.
NAU's 5th is just crossing the line now.
Oklahoma State's is in.
NC State's coming right here.
NC State, it's gonna be, we gotta do the math.
This is for the win. Northern Arizona at 124.
NC State, 123. Northern Arizona, 124. It is coming down to 1 point. Does NC State pull off the back-to-back-to-back?
The last time that happened, as we said, was the Stanford Cardinal. They did it from 2005 to 2007. Tui can't be back-to-back titleists like Sheila Reed in 2010, 2011. But this would be an unbelievable, heroic effort by NC State as they sit at 123 points. We'll stay with this, make sure all the technical scoring is fleshed out, all the math is right. Like when there's only a point, we want to make sure that accounting is correct.
I gotta just say though, NC State losing their second runner, Kelsey Camille. I saw her yesterday on her crutches, just on the verge of tears, and to have her team come together, no matter if they're first or second today, they did it, and that's what this sport is all about, becoming a family and running that way.
The way that NC State was able to pull this off. Look, Caitlin Tui did not have her best day, and she held on to still come out and finish 5th. But then Amaris Tynisma, she's dropped out of all of her races so far this season.
Been injured all summer, and here she is.
Comes up, is the number 2, finishes in 25th place. She gets it done. And then then we had freshmen. We have freshmen.
Yep.
Leah Stevens is finding a way to come through. I mean, it's just an incredible performance.
Oh my gosh,
Samantha Bush able to once again be an All-American. What a team effort. We said at the start of the show, it's not about a team, it's about a program. And today, NC State showed why they are the best program in the NCAA year after year after year.
And in Tynisma's case, right, she has shown this is the day you have to show. And she's had some disappointing finishes, but this is where she's come through, and she has been in top 10 here now twice before, and then comes through strong. And like when it's 1 point, you can pick. There's no MVP here when there's 1 point. Everybody who got one person is done the job.
And Samantha Bush got 14 people in that last kilometer.
14.
So look, everyone's a hero because everyone in NC State seems to have been moving up that last kilometer. They found a way to get it done.
Tynisma got 7. Bush got 7. Got 14. Tynisma got 3. Leah Stevens dropped back a little bit when she came through.